My fellow Turks and Caicos Islanders, I come before you for what some would say is the last time as your premier of these our Turks and Caicos Islands. The circumstances of this moment certainly ring with a degree of finality, not only for me as your premier, but for the political and economic progress of the Turks and Caicos Islands as a whole. But I submit to you that out of the ashes of our momentary discontentment, we as a people shall rise once again. What strengthens me this moment is my faith that this is not the end, but that we are in fact on the brink of a new beginning. Our journey these last 6 years has been fought with uncertainty and travail, yet filled with promise. We have transformed from a small group of islands, barely acknowledged to what is considered by many around the world to be the envy of the Caribbean. We should be proud that we have come so far in such a short time. It was not easy, and mistakes were made along the way, but we have only just begun to live up to our potential. We know that nothing of significant value is ever gained unless without struggle, sacrifice, and oftentimes turmoil. Certainly, we can look back and see the massive and unprecedented development and growth of our beloved Turks and Caicos Islands. Along the way, the journey continues to be a mix of progress and disappointment. Sometimes, we as leaders neglect to remember that to whom much is given, so much more is expected. There have been regrets and personal gain, pain, and agony for me over the years, much of which comes with a job, and some of which result from mistaken judgment. But through it all, I've become a better person, a better leader, and a better representative of our beloved Turks and Caicos Islands. We should remind ourselves of the story of David in the Bible, a man that God loved, for he knew that David loved and served him with all his heart. God loved David in spite of his failings, for he knew that David had come to serve an important role in facilitating the freedom of his people. It was the importance of this mission, a mission bigger than the smallness of our human frailties, that secured the blessings of God. No matter what my personal failings may have been, they do not support the pretext upon which the governor has decided to suspend our Constitution and take us back to a time we had thought long past, in which we had to endure the indignity of colonial interference with our rights as a free people. The order in council, or the proposed order in council, takes away from the people the right to self-determination, a right guaranteed by international law. It takes away the right to be represented by their own elected representative, answerable to them and accessible to them. It replaces that system of democratic government by direct rule by a colonial governor and his civil servants, subject to the direction of the Foreign Secretary in London. This is tantamount to being recolonized. It is a backward step, completely contrary to the whole movement of history. That movement is towards empowerment of the people and their greater participation in self-government through the democratic process. I was elected representative of the people of North Caicos East. The order in council removes me as their representative, suspends Parliament, and takes away their right to have a say in their destiny. I intend to fight for their right to have an elected representative answerable to them and accessible to them. I will take every step open to me to resist this denial of their fundamental rights to have a say in how they are governed. Our record as a government has earned us that right and privilege of self-determination. What is the ground upon which we stand to make these claims? Over the past 6 years, the Turks and Caicos Islands has experienced unprecedented growth and development. Not only have we more than tripled our tourism business, but our growth has directly benefited the people of our country. what were just a short time ago dirt roads and sandy strips are now paved lanes and premier resort destinations. The Turks and Caicos Islands has gone from being practically uncharted territory to literally being placed on the world map of upscale vacation destinations. The fruits of infrastructure, which were previously the exclusive playground of the wealthy and well-connected, mostly those of foreign origin, have extended to opportunities for belongers. We changed the laws governing investment in our islands to require that any significant investment in infrastructure also go towards developing our indigenous human capital. Over the 6 years since this government has been in place, we have seen the development of 2 state-of-the-art hospitals, a causeway to link the islands of North Caicos and Middle Caicos together, roads throughout the Turks and Caicos Islands, a national stadium that hosts the first Carifta Games in these islands, other recreational facilities and sporting facilities, a first-class seaport, and tens of millions of dollars on educating and empowering our people, and countless thousands of acres of land that empower belongers through land ownership. To achieve economic growth at this rate, while at the same time assuring that our people of these islands secure its benefits, require a new vision for development. No longer could we see ourselves as mere subjects, meekly consenting to the governed and kept. We had to become agents of our own change, intimately involved in the decisions and processes that would lead to the growth and prosperity, acting in our own best interest, requiring taking some risk. Some have readily embraced this transformation in the governing relationships, while others have bristled and chafed under the weight of change. The status quo may not have been ideal to some of us, but at least it was familiar and therefore predictable. In some sense, it relieves us of the responsibility for shaping our own destiny, and for some, this is more comforting than the alternative. It certainly deserves mentioning that change in any aspect of life never occurs without a price in the short and long term. However, just look back and remember what this place was a little over 5 years ago, and the progress that you see before you now. Who would have ever thought that this would have ever been possible for our tiny country? I now announce that I will tender my resignation, effective today, as Premier, to allow the new PNP leader to become Premier. I pledge my full support to him and ask that we all rally our support and prayers to our new Premier, the Honorable Gilmore Williams, and give him the necessary encouragement and support to complete the journey that started long ago. Let us embrace this new beginning for the Turks and Caicos Islands and stand in support of his efforts to defend our Constitution and usher in the new era of growth and prosperity. Finally, I would like to thank all of you, my family, my supporters and friends who stood by me and continue to stand by me. I would like to thank all the civil servants who have worked with me and my government over the past 6 years. I especially want to thank my constituency of Bottle Creek North Caicos for giving me the opportunity to serve. I will always be humble and grateful for your love, support, and you know that I love all of you with all my heart. I leave today proud of what we have been able to accomplish over the past 6 years, and even more determined to fight for my rights and the rights of every citizen. May God bless you, and may God continue to bless the Turks and Caicos.